everybody, this is Jen from Scrappy Patch, and I am here to do some matting and hopefully finish up this trio tutorial with the Ephemera Queen collection. So today what we're going to do first is do the spine, and I wanted to do some fussy cutting on the spine. Now if you don't want to do fussy cutting, that's absolutely fine. Just pick the papers you want and you can leave them in strips. But I have already fussy cut some images. I'm going to have to deal with this, which may be a full strip of paper. I had my spine seam ended up right in the middle of my spine there. So all in all, it looks like we're about 6 3/4, 7 inches by about 6 1/2. So that's what we're going to have to work with, and we're just going to lay the little scene out on this piece of black cardstock since we're using black. And I said about 6 3/4 by 6 1/2. Doesn't have to be exact. We're just getting a good idea of how big of an area we have to work with. Okay, and I could cut that, but I may want to use this paper. Well, I know I'll want to use this paper. So, just like I said, get a good idea. And we're going to go here. Okay, so this is the area that we have to work with right here. And then our box lip sticks up about 1.5 inches. So we're going to take that into consideration. I don't want to put anything like really important down here because you're not going to be able to see it. I want to put stuff down there because I don't want it to be like, I don't want it to just stop right there. But I don't want to put like a name or something halfway down where you won't see it. Okay, so I have my fussy cut images here and here. And let's see what we can do. Another thing to take into consideration is this is 3 parts. So I have big Ephemera Queen, and she's just too big, so that was cut from the signature sheet, the 12 by 12. But I think little Ephemera Queen will be okay, and I'm just going to get my books back out and make sure that her face isn't like on the line, because I may have to move her over a little bit. Yeah, no, she'll be okay. Yep, she'll be okay sitting all the way off to the left there. And I don't mind it if her feet fall below this line. Now, the problem of the day is this line here, which I may be able to just solve by using just a strip of this paper. That looks pretty good to me, so let's plan on that. That'll be right there. Now, I want something to fill in behind. Maybe I don't want, if she was over here, that would be okay. How about something with the title on it there? And then I am not opposed. I think we need a grounding element here. So let's go ahead and use this cut apart. Okay, so yeah, I think this needs to go across the bottom, but underneath all of our other elements. So it would be something like that. And then we can just use some little flowers, Possibly a bird up here. I wonder if I have a little bird going the other direction. Something to put here. These flowers are really nice too. I'm going to have to find something to do with those, maybe on the cover of one of the albums. I do like that, but it is on there. Oh, we got a dove, but he would be flying in the wrong direction also. I don't want him to be flying off of the page. This guy is just too big. It looks like he's going to peck her face out. So we don't want that. Okay. It looks like all the other guys are going the wrong direction. So let's go to the ephemera pack and see if I can find anything. I've already broke my everything up into colors. Ooh, how about a chipboard? Oh, don't fall. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, I like this little heart. This heart, I think. I'll give it. I don't know if that's too much here. Yeah, I don't particularly think that goes well there. Oh, I kind of like this instead of that one. I think I'll do that. I'll take my 8x8 off. We'll put him across the bottom. And then possibly another heart down here, maybe layering up the hearts and the flowers. Well, possibly. I'll leave them out just in case. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. And then the big chipboard pieces we're going to use on the boxes. So, alright. So, the first thing to do is make your decision. And then the second thing to do is to cut into paper. I'm not done. Am I done with these? Oh, maybe I am done with these. All I have to do is mat. Well, that's exciting. I thought I had to do the entire album still. It's been a long project. Okay, so I think I want to cut her. First, I want to cut my strip because this is going under everything. And I think the other thing I want to do is do a strip of cream cardstock. Cream cardstock. Which I don't have a long enough piece sitting next to me. I think I'm going to use cream cardstock throughout the albums to mat some stuff, so I'll just grab some open paper here. And first thing I'm going to do, move this out of the way, I'm going to punch this. And you can use any punch you have. I don't know if the doily punch is a favorite of everybody, I think. And it's been around for a while. So I'll probably use it while decorating the albums. It's always nice to pull the elements. I think I did that wrong. That's not too bad. Let's cut that off. Pull the elements from the outside in and inside out. Doo-doo. Da-da-da. I'm just going to go ahead and cut the whole, or punch the entire side here, because I can always use the rest later. Okay, here we go. So the idea behind this album is, I think, or this video, is I think what I'm going to do, if I can get all this in one video, I'm just going to cut a real thin strip of this, is walk you through the spine and the box, matting the box, and then the rest of it I'll just speed up because everybody knows how to mat. And I think it's everybody's favorite part. So hopefully you guys didn't wait for me to mat your project. So I think, do I want this at the bottom or the top? I think I want that at the top. Excuse me. So I'm going to grab the antique linen. And I got a new Dobby thing here. I've never used antique linen, so this will be fun. I can't even see it on there, but I'm sure it's doing something. I did a poll. I think it was a poll in the ASC Supplies Facebook group of what kind of, or what color of distress ink I should do. And, or no, I just asked a question. I didn't do a poll. And everybody was like, antique linen. And I'm like, all right. Antique linen it is. So be sure you head on over to the Facebook group. Whoop. And you can have a say in the making of some of my stuff. Because when I can't make a decision, I ask. Or if I'm, you know, just second guessing myself, having doubts. Now this is the Ultra Bond adhesive. It is an alternative to art glitter glue. If you are in the freezing states like I am, and it works well. It gives you a little bit more time at the beginning to put your stuff where you want, so it's a little more liquidy. It takes a little bit longer to set, but then it does cure pretty fast after that. So that's cool. I think I got that not straight at all. Yeah, that's pretty close. Okay. So, make a decision here. This is going to be my last album. Should it be my last album or my first album? I think it's going to be my last album. And I'll just put this strip of cards here, which I'm not sure how yet, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to measure. They're going to be, I don't want it to go all the way around the corner, but I want it to be pretty close here. So I'm going to do 2 1/8, and then if I have to go back and cut like a 1/16 off, I can. So we're going to cut this and do 2 1/16, and I want it off of this side. Oh, I said 2 1/8, and then I cut 2 1/16. So, all right. Well, we just laid the premise for the rest of it. It's going to be 2 1/16. Go back in, do a little antique linen there, and distress the off-white there. Okay. So it's going to go here. And I guess I'll just cut the rest of them. Yeah, I can go a little longer on this one. I'm going to try 2 1/8. Okay, and then that leaves me this. I'm going to put down there. Let's see if 2 1/8 will work. 2 1/8 will work. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this one aside, and I'm going to cut this one at 2 1/8. we'll just move everything down one. Okay. I'm going to distress everything. And we'll go ahead and start gluing. Making a commitment. Da, 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 da. Okay, so I recommend glue for the front, or for the anything on the fronts or spines of the album, at least on the outside edge, so that things are less likely to get trapped under them. And these fine tips are perfect for said gluing. Okay, this is just going to be the base, and you probably won't see this when it's in the box, or if you do, it's just going to be a tiny bit. I'm going to alternate between my glues, so that my other one doesn't dry up. There we go. And then the last one. Now this one, I want this to go under this. So I think I'm going to go halfway down here. And we'll do, I'm going to cut it 6.5. That may be a little long, but I'd rather cut it long. So first thing I'm going to do is cut it right about here, and then I'm going to cut to 6.5. The other thing we could do is do them all separate and lay them like that. Let's try that. Okay, good. I'm changing up my mind just a little bit here. That way I can get more. I just cut that one too short, which is okay. I have a dog that's very playful right now. She's running back and forth behind me, so if you hear something that sounds like a herd of cattle, it's just one very large dog. I'm using my cutter over here, and I'm just cutting out all these cards. So probably the easiest fussy cutting you could do is these cards. So, oops, alright. I did miss a little bit there. Let's trim that off. I don't particularly want pink showing, and I don't want my corners square. So we're just going to chip those off a little bit here. And I think this will go better with what we're doing. And I'm just making the corners a little tiny diagonal. Okay, my allergies are kicking up crazy today. I'm going to go a little diagonal, diagonal, diagonal. Get rid of this pink. Diagonal. Do that on the other two. Okay, so trick of the day, if you're new to fussy cutting, is if you have some, I don't know, areas that are light that you don't want to show, like I have a little bit of pink here, take a marker. This is pigment ink. Alcohol ink bleeds, so try and find something that is a pigment ink. This is my favorite to do this with, and use the broad tip and go along the side of your fussy cut and it'll get rid of those very small edges that you just didn't really want to see. It also will outline it in black, so maybe if you were doing a shabby chic, this wouldn't be the best thing, but it does make a difference as far as your fussy cutting goes. And any remnants that you may have on the sides. It also makes it gives it a finished look, like it has an outline in that you just cut right along the outline because you are so good at it. When you're like me and you're just not so good at it. So, and yeah, this is a tip for all fussy cutting. If you're using a dark distressing, then you don't have to do this on parts like this, that you can go around everything with this distress ink. But I'll show you the difference between the two. This one I went around with the marker and this one's not, so just personal preference. This one I think I cut a little short. This card's going to be, whoops, smaller than the rest of them. And if you're like me, you managed to get ink on your fingers. And I will show you what I mean on the little queen too, because there are some areas that I have to work on with her where because they're so detailed that you just can't quite get in there. Another thing that people like doing is using some matte medium so their fussy cuts don't get damaged. So she has a white outline because it was actually blue around her. If you can see where I didn't quite get all the way in. And you just go in and slowly color those in black. You don't want to do it too fast because your pen will get away from you and then you'll end up putting a big right across your image, which I've done plenty of times. Because that edge, that's why you want a broad tip. You can do it with Sharpies. Sharpies bleed. So you're going to get more than what you bargained for when you do it with Sharpies. So but yeah, I think it just gives it a finished look. This is not my idea. I've been doing this for a while. I think I originally seen the idea. There's a lady and she hasn't been on YouTube for a while. She was actually on the Graphic 45 design team. She wasn't when I started following her because I followed her for years, but she ended up being on the Graphic 45 design team. And her name was Santa Row, and if you want to watch her, she does amazing mini albums. I loved watching her, and it's Xanero. So definitely check her out. While I'm plugging channels, one of my favorite, and I'm sure everybody else's favorite, is Scrap Queen. And then my fellow design team members too, which Chantel and Michelle and Anna and Robin. And I don't remember all of the YouTube channels right now, but head on over to the ASC Facebook group. The link is down in the description. And they all post, of course, there. So I'll be done plugging the channels now. Let's lay these out the way we want them. I definitely want the Ace. And the one with Eiffel Tower. Maybe one of these. And the 5. Do we like that? I think I like that. Okay, so I'm going to lay this flat. Then it goes side to side. Okay, and then this one, I think I'm going to go a little bit off this side, so I'm going to cut this off right there. And I want it cut off straight, so I'm going to use my cutter. Okay. Just to give it a little bit of interest. I don't have to do this, so I'm going to cut this side off too. Yeah. We'll cut her off right there. And then this will be a good place to put some bling, of course, since it is the Ephemera Queen. I'll go through my stash and see if I can find any. I know Crystal just got some new Prima Say It With Pearls and Say It With Crystals, and I love them. I have them from forever ago. I'm going to do her without cutting. I'm not going to put her at such a drastic angle. Okay. So she's just going to be at a little bit of an angle, and this is covering that mistake up I made. Now, question is, I don't think I need this then. I think we're good here. This one will go back in the box. And I'll pull it up a little bit. Make sure these guys are down. Okay. Don't need her right now. There are squirrels outside and my dog is going nuts. She does not like the squirrels in her yard. I like looking at the squirrels. She, however, does not. Okay, so I probably could have put like that 5 like sticking out like right there. It would have been cute, but what's done is done. It's going to look just like that. Okay. So there's that. I think I successfully covered up this seam that has been my nemesis for the last few weeks. And now we have to put, I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to put this over here to keep these up. Okay. So now I'm going to layer this card under here. Let me stand up. Or is this card too big? Question. It does have the title on it though. Of course the title's kind of down here too. I'm thinking this may be a little too big. Let's go. Should I just go with these two? Almost like a deck, a hand of, a hand of cards. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is glue these two together, just like I have them. Just like they're And then I'm going to mark where I want to cut them. And it's going to be right about here and right there. So I just gave myself, I don't want to go around the corner, so give yourself enough room that you don't have to go around the corner when you cut these. So if you mark both sides, you just cut from the two sides you marked, and then you lay it flat. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and ink where I cut. This is the same way you do the waterfalls that where you have the image and you spread it between all the little layers of the waterfall. Same thing, same thing. Okay, so I do want it as close to the edge as possible without going over the curve. Okay, and then I ink this side. Make sure that your books are level. This one's done. I'm done with this one. Actually, you know what I should have done? Where did I put this? Is this? Okay, well, I'll deal with that in just a minute. Ah! The hardest part of this project is getting your stuff to stay up straight. Okay. So you gotta make sure that your books are level so that when you put this next piece on, it's going to be right next to the other one. And if you're not doing this on video like I am, you can set them up straight on their sides. Much easier than doing it this way. Okay, so again, as close to this side as possible without going over the spine, the bend. This is what you're going to see when you look at the side of your book. Okay. And then I was just thinking to myself, that I should have saved this little piece here to go on to here, but it's just a little bit too far away. Like, I didn't cut it exactly the way I should have, so that's just not going to happen. So skip that idea. So I don't need you again. Make it simple by just having two books to stand up. Okay. May need something a little heavier on this side. Okay, so now we have to decide where we're going to cut the Ephemera Queen chick here. And basically, I don't want a whole bunch of little pieces. So how far over can I go? I think we'll be safe right there. I'll get this entire image. And okay, so when you do this one, you want to stay on this side because the main image is going over there. And I'm just going to use where I cut the Ephemera Queen thing at the bottom, the border. And the first thing on the top, mark it with a pencil. And then you're going to run your trimmer from this pencil line to the bottom pencil line. And everything that falls off goes onto the other side. Okay, so that's not too bad. I ended up with two pieces. Just make your cut strategic so you don't end up with a whole bunch of little guys. And then we're going to distress the side. You can run your black ink on that, but I don't want to separate the two as much. If I run that black ink, it's going to look like it's framed. And I don't want to do that. Now, it is important. This is going to be on the outside of your album, so it is important to get all the little pieces here. Which is another reason why these tips come in handy. And you want enough adhesive on there to make sure that it doesn't stay. Now, when you put this on, you need to go as far over this way as you can. So I'm okay, like I said before, with her feet. Kind of on that border. There we go. I think that looks lovely. And then if something sticks up later, like this little piece here isn't wanting to stick down because it's layered on top of that card. I think it will though, but we can always go back and take our little tip and put it in there. Okay, now I think I need to switch my bottles around because the heavy's going to be on that side. Okay, so I have this little piece here, which is the wing, and it's going to be kind of drowned out by this guy here, but we want it on there. Make sure you get the little tips of the wings and everything. Okay, do I have it? And he's going to go right there. Had we not put it on there, I'm sure it wouldn't have made that big of a difference. It's very hard to see. Okay, but for the rest of this, and the other thing I did was, right here, these are actually two different pieces, but I have a piece of washi tape holding them together. Keeping them in place and keeping them from getting caught on other things before I glue it down. Okay. Now this is rather important to get these lined up. Make sure your albums are lined up at the top and bottom. And you just want, I almost screwed that up. Basically I'm looking at the extension of her arm here to make sure that her arm is extending out the correct way. Okay, there we go. I think that looks pretty good. So very similar to the Christmas time album I did with Santa's face, and very similar to the Christmas time album I did. It's a little crooked and it'll be okay. And we'll just deal with that. Okay, so as far as getting just a couple more pieces on here, I think I'm going to put this little bird over here next to the cage. He's going to see his other little friend that is in the cage. Will probably end up in somebody's headdress, because that's what they did. Okay, I think he looks cute right there. Try not to go over the seam there. And then let's look. I have some hearts. I'm not sure that I want the yellow. I'm not sure if that's enough. How about, again, I'm gonna look through my fussy cutting. And I'm almost thinking, how about that? Like, just cut him off right there. Would that be big enough? Or too big? I think. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with you. I mean, it is the Ephemera Queen. We're supposed to have, like, it's supposed to be dramatic. It's supposed to be extra. I can't find where I made the bottom mark. I guess it depends on how you cut it, huh? Like, that would be okay. How about that? Let's cut it there. We're going to cut it here. And here. Wait. Here. I'm going to erase the original mark I made. And the one that I made wrong just then. And we're going to cut. Okay. Let me erase my marks here. And then on this side, I think I'll do the whole thing here. All right. Yeah. So again, I just see what I said about being careful and taking your time, because you'll right across it, and I just did it, but it's not so bad that I'm gonna. You can always cover it up, like layer another piece on top of it, but I'm not worried about it. So yeah, if you're not fussy cutting, then this is even like simpler, because you just take the image that you want and you just cut it up into 3 equal pieces and make that the spine of your album. And I did that on my fairy. Oh, what's the Graphic 45 fairy collection? Fairy Wings, the new one. Actually, it was Fairy Wings and the old one that I can't remember the name of. Okay, here we go. I think that's a good way to do this here. And, oh, too low, too low. Okay. So, there we go. Make sure that it's really good glued down here. I think that looks good. And then I think I'll layer some of these guys on top. These are just little ones that I cut out. I only have 2 of them. So maybe this little guy here. It gives it a little bit of dimension. And then I think I want to somehow incorporate this heart. How about right there? Just smack dab in the middle of that. I'm liking it. I like the edges to be a little bit darker. Let me see if I can darken it up with this, or if I have to go the black route. think that's okay. Okay, so we're going to put that on there. There we go. Alright, and then we can always add some bling later. So let's get our box out and empty it of its contents. So I have some tabs and stuff in there right now. And put this together the way that it would look in the box. Okay, there you go. That's the way it's going to look. I'm happy with that. Okay, so now we're going to do the box here. And move these aside. Now, the first thing that we need to do is address the sides. And this one I do use. You can use acrylic paint or you can use a marker. I have a big Sharpie here. So, now I do have an issue here where I didn't cut my chipboard quite straight, and if you end up with that, you can cut it off, or you can cover it with paper, or you can just ignore it. This is what I'm going to do. And the rest, we just color in with black Sharpie, or acrylic paint, or whatever. And you want to go, you know, about 1/8 inch down, because this is what you're going to see around your paper. Now, if you have not purchased your chipboard yet, I recommend the 50-point black. That way you don't even have to do this. It's already black. But I didn't have that when I made this box, so. You may want to run a Mod Podge or something along the corners to seal it, because after all this is chipboard and it's just layered paper, right? So if you see that your corners or sides are kind of fraying up a little bit, you just don't like that, then I recommend just putting some Mod Podge on it, letting it dry. And you can always use like a tape or something. If you have washi tape that you want to use. Lots of options here. But I do recommend doing something. So make sure you get all the corners and edges that you're going to see. Okay. I think I got everything. So we're going to see that. Oh, the back. It's in the back. Back, side, and then of course everywhere that's covered with these little hinges we don't have to do. Alright, I think I got everything now. Again, for sure this time. Cap my glue here. Alright, we're going to go through the matting of this box, and then I will probably do a separate video just speed matting everything. a share video. How about that? Okay, so I am going to take a little bit of Mod Podge. Whoop, I said a little bit. And just go along the edges of my box here because they are, mostly because the when I cut them, I kind of miss the angle. But I want to seal those edges. Of course, I'm getting ink all over my hands. Okay. And here. All right. I'm going to let that dry for a minute. I'm going to cut our paper. Hello everybody. So I struggled with this. And honestly, I took a nap for 2 hours. And I decided that this paper is too bright, I think, to cover the entire box. So I'm going to cover the entire box in black and then choose where to layer paper. Okay, so that's a decision I made. So first we're going to cut the bottom, which is 5 1/4 by 7. And because we added on the back, we can cut that 5 1/4 by 7. The inside's probably going to be like a 5 1/8 by 6 7/8. And I'm going to use this paper I drew on. By 7. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut 5 1/4 by 7 for the outside too. Or for the inside. And if I need to cut it down a little bit, I can. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be too big for that, but it should be good for the bottom. And I still have not filled my ATG tape. Just okay, and then the sides are going to be the hardest part, but they're not that hard, especially since we're just doing black. These were, if I had the measurement still, it would be easier, but I don't, so I'll show you how to do it. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 by, we'll say 1 1/4. So 4 1/4 plus 1 1/4. 5 1/2 by, we measured 5 1/2. So I'm going to cut this 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. I'll do it on this one so you guys can see it. Can you see that? I got something there, so I can't push it back any further. 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. And then we're going to line this up. I'll just do it right here so you can see it. 1 1/4. Should be 1 1/4. It's close enough. We're going to go to the 1 1/4 and then to the 5 1/2. No, I'm going to go to the 1 1/4 and then 1 1/4, right? So the other 1 1/4 is right there. Let's see if I did this right. No, because that won't be 5 1/2 then. Is this 5 1/2? No, I'm right. Okay, 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. Because I added those together. So 1 1/4 here, 1 1/4 on this side, and then cut diagonally. Make sure it cuts. Okay, perfect. And we'll have to take a little bit off of that again. So it's 5.5 by 5.5 because we took the 4 1/4 and the 1 1/4. And then 1 1/4, which is right here. And then I just did 1 1/4 up here. There's 1 1/4. And then I go from 1 1/4 to 1 1/4. Ta-da! Okay, so then we're going to take about 1/8 inch off of all the, or the 2 straight sides. So I may have to take a little bit more off of the inside. I should have done more than one. Okay. Check for success. Looks good. So 1/8 inch off of the sides that we're doing for the outside, and then we'll probably take 3/16 off the ones for the inside. Sounds like a plan to me. 8. And because these don't have a pattern on them, we don't have to worry about it. Which way to cut them. 3/16 is going to be, let's take 1/4 and see how it sits, because it's even, I took 1/4 off and it's still too long. It's definitely too tall. You lose a lot of room in the middle when you, so I'm going to take another, I'm going to take it off the front, not the back, another 1/8 inch. Yeah, that's better. May have to go in with a marker, so we're going to take 1/4 off both sides. The 1/4 off of the 2 long sides, and then we're going to take 1/8 off the tip here. I better check. Yeah, it still needs to be. Okay. Checking. Perfect. Okay. So that will give us a blank canvas, and it will help me visualize the front, because I don't think I'm going to cover it with all pattern paper. I just don't see that happening with this very vibrant collection, although I may cover some with the solids, but not everything. There we go. Now, I know what I want to do to the front. I want, oh, he's big. See, that sticks up a lot. Just going to back it with paper, but I think it's just too big. It sticks up too far. Can I still use this guy? Okay, I think this guy will be okay as far as the front goes. Okay, so these chipboard pieces need a little TLC when you once you punch them out. They have little nubs on them where they were holding on to the cardboard. So we take an emery board, go over them, and then I take my black marker and go around them. And then I'll probably put some bling or something in there. So, okay, so now we get to make our decision. I would be okay with pink behind here. And then I think that chipboard's just way too big. I want, how about on the back? Oh, that's big too. We put how about these guys? Like maybe, oops. We can kind of put these guys on the back, or I have this big clock also. What do you think? All right. How about that looks upside down? How about like this? Does that look okay? Decision making. Okay, commitment time. Okay, you guys, so that took way longer than what I thought it would. So we're going to wrap this video up, and I'll do a video of matting, probably all time-lapse, and then a share video next weekend. So this is the box that we did. I just left the insides black except for the back, and went ahead and found some bling. I put some flat back faceted black gems on there. Whoa. I use my fussy cutting on this side. I use some bling here, and Crystal just got in Say It With Crystals, and those are like my favorite kind of bling. So head on over there and grab the ASC supplies. Say It With Crystals and Say It With Pearls. Both beautiful. Another one of those flat back black faceted gems, and then chipboard, one of the cut parts. Just left this plain. Tip, if, and I did it wrong, you do one this way, and then if you flip it over and you cut it the same way, you end up with the same on the side. So I did it the wrong way, and I'm fine with that because this side is decorative pattern paper and this side I left plain, but then I added a cut apart to it. So, and then I do have panels I could add to the sides if I choose to do so. I'm not sure that I'm going to do that yet, so I just left it blank. And then of course the albums, we hid the spine piece here where I had the that seam, and this is what it looks like. You could also put this one over here if you'd want. You don't have to keep it in. You can do it this way, although because the flower kind of stops right there, I think it does look better the other direction. So yeah, that is the spines and box of the trio mini album. And then like this, throughout the week I will decorate the books. It looks like I have all the pages done, which is really exciting to me because I didn't think I did that. So I guess I worked on it just a little bit more than I thought. I still had to put this waterfall in because I wanted to mat the back first. Oh, you guys, look what I did. I put the spine on upside down. Alright, so I'll teach you how to fix. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I did. So here's the pocket. I put it on upside down. Not a big deal. I can fix that. I wonder if I did the other ones like that. This one's right. This one's also backwards. Okay, so I have a little bit of fixing to do. No big deal. Maybe I'll show you how to do that in the videos too. Whoop. Because I am not taking the spine off. Okay, there you go, you guys. Oops. There is the box mini album trio. Definitely got some work to do on it now that I realize that 2 of the books are made upside down. Head on over to ASC Supplies, Artistic Studio Creations, or ASC Supplies on Etsy, asccraftsupplies.com. Use Scrapping Posh 10 for 10% off all your regular price purchases, and hit the notification button because I know you're going to want to see this. See you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.